And I want you all to know that we are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake. A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. Because they have no sources, they just make them up when there are none.
Well, never thought I'd be agreeing with him, that's for sure. Well, I guess this video could be about 5 hours long if I actually went into every different piece of FUD and every price scale we've had over the past couple of days. But I won't. There's loads of other really good videos that go into that. I'm just going to cover the key things that have happened this week. There's a Blockchain Connect conference in San Francisco on Friday the 26th. And this is an event that was designed to unite blockchain communities from the US and China. Now actually 1,500 tickets were sold for this. An additional 800 names were on the waiting list and weren't successful in getting tickets, but it was a bit of a disaster in the end. Despite selling 1,500 tickets, there were only 900 seats available, so an overflow room had to be used, and these people were linked in via audio link. That was problematic, pretty bad audio quality by all accounts, and not the best way to spend between $500 to $1,000. This week we also saw a large Canadian investment fund, OMAS, establish an investment vehicle to invest into Ethereum. Now the vehicle is called Ethereum Capital, and the goal is to raise $50 million by the 16th of February. And those funds will be used to invest in either Ether tokens or other Ethereum blockchain startups. It will also take controlling stakes in blockchain companies as well. Now this is really interesting as well. It's becoming increasingly common, and I think it's really going to change the landscape of investing, especially in ICOs. As we see more funds and professional investors coming into the space that have more value to add than retail investors, we'll be seeing these investors be allowed to invest at an earlier stage and to acquire those tokens at preferable prices. Now it's interesting because it's much more like traditional venture capital funding. Now in my opinion, it would be a lot harder as an individual investor to find attractive ICOs to invest in, and that's for two reasons. Number one, the really good ICOs will have raised all their capital from these investment funds and from professional investors before doing a public sale. And number two, any that do come around to doing a public sale, whether it be for marketing or whatever purpose, will be completely oversubscribed, so it'll be really hard to get a meaningful amount of those tokens, if any at all. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out, and also what this means if we want to make profitable investments in earlier stage tokens, and how we play that dynamic. Now another event from Davos as well, a really interesting project that was unveiled, the Known Traveller Digital Identity Scheme. Now this has been a project that's been worked on by Canadian and Dutch companies alongside Accenture, the consulting firm, to develop a scheme to make world travel safer. Now it would use a permission-based distributed ledger to get away from the need of centralised information services. It would enable pre-screening and facilitation for compliant passengers to travel internationally. And I think real-world application for blockchain like this, which are very tangible, is great to see. BTCC, Bitcoin Exchange, formerly BTC China, has been acquired by a Hong Kong-based investment fund. The terms aren't fully disclosed, but it's quite an exciting development. The exchange faced difficulties since September, where it had to move from Shanghai, where it's originally founded, to Hong Kong, following legal changes and concerns within China with regards to the legality of cryptocurrency. And another development within the mining space, rumours bubbling that Samsung are building mining chips in partnership with an unknown Chinese company. The news was broken by South Korean outlets following rumours that have been bubbling since October, when at the US Developer Conference they revealed a mining rig made of old Android phones. Now the ASICs chips, the application-specific integrated circuits, would be distributed by its Chinese partner, and this follows on other rumours where Samsung was alleged to be working with a Russian partner, Baikal, to produce the ASICs chips. Is it one, or will we see both partnerships? Now this is particularly interesting because currently Bitmain is the main player in the market. Allegedly it has 70% market share, and Samsung, who have the capabilities really to come into this sector, are going to pose a real challenge to Bitmain. So this will be a really interesting space to watch. Now I'm sure we've seen those really annoying adverts for various ICOs on Facebook, on YouTube, etc. But in the news this week is that Facebook will be banning them. Facebook will not be allowing any cryptocurrency or ICO related adverts. Now it's an interesting development. I personally can't say I'm shocked. We've seen similar adverts which promise these great returns, promise riches, but don't present the real inherent risks associated with such investing. If it's adverts targeted at professional investors, fine, they're aware of the risks, and there's a framework and structure around what can and can't be said. With ICOs and cryptos, there isn't that same framework, there isn't that same audience, and people are much more likely to be convinced to buying something that perhaps is not at all right for them given their current circumstances, and so this approach taken by Facebook is actually a really sensible one. Personally, my view is that it'd be great to see more of a framework around this, much like there is with normal financial promotions, and making sure people are aware really of what the risks are associated with this. We have a professional football player, or soccer player for those of you based in the US, who's the first professional sportsman to accept payment in Bitcoin. 22-year-old Omar Faruk has joined Turkish team, that team on screen, for a salary paid half in Bitcoin and half in cash. I really hope he negotiated that when the Bitcoin price was at a low. And given we're all hoping for a really bullish year, I can see it now, topping the charts as the highest paid sportsman of 2018. There was also a rather comedic amount of Charlie Lee scam accounts on Twitter which circulated this week. Now all of them promised free Litecoin in return for a smaller sum of Litecoin being transferred to a wallet address. Now, I really don't know if anyone fell for this, and I sincerely hope not. Anyone who did fall for this probably shouldn't be involved in crypto at all, especially given the requirements for being, security savvy, etc. And also, I just thought I'd add, if anyone does have Litecoin burning a hole in their wallet, I'm not promising to send more Litecoin back, but feel free to send it through to me. And I think actually, in all honesty, your chances of getting Litecoin back from me are as high as they are from the scam accounts as well. We have the Tether controversy. I'm not going to go into this in depth because I think there's some really great videos already out there on the topic. And I've linked some of them in the description below. I plan to do a video on this, but sadly, there seems to be a recurring theme on this channel. I wasn't quick enough, and that boat kind of has sailed. I'm working on it, I promise. But Tether, at a very high level, is a crypto pegged to the US dollar, which is supposedly backed by real US dollars as well. But however, it can be printed on demand. However, Bitfinex have broken off relations with the auditor. US regulators said that they were going to investigate both Bitfinex and Tether. And this is very interesting, because neither Bitfinex nor Tether are US companies, and Bitfinex doesn't allow US customers, so why is the US regulator getting involved? And actually, another interesting point is that insiders have revealed this is actually fake news, and that actually the announcement was made in early December, and only just became public. Exciting news from FedEx. They announced that they're going to integrate blockchain technology into daily operations by joining the Blockchain in Transport Alliance. They're understood to be testing blockchain platforms, as well as helping develop a set of industry standards. And this has many uses, such as track packages, or resolve disputes. And clean energy mining was dealt a blow this week when energy provider Enel announced it would not sell energy to renewable energy crypto mining business Envion. Now Envion uses renewable energy to power mobile mining units which are basically constructed inside shipping containers, and they can be powered by solar farms or wind farms anywhere in the world, and the idea is to eliminate reliance on one country's infrastructure. Now actually currently 70% of mining takes place in China, but with tightening regulations on crypto, there are concerns that miners will be subject to power restrictions. What's interesting to note is that in December, crypto mining used more electricity than most African countries. There's a lot of debate about it being incredibly bad for the environment, and that can't be denied. And I think renewable energy as a way of circumventing those fears is a really interesting one, and hopefully we can see some developments there. And we'll wrap up this week with the news from India. There was the FUD that India were banning cryptos. Cryptos are illegal in India. And this was typical again of mainstream media failing to actually pick out the details of what was really said. Arun Jaitley, the finance minister, made a speech just merely stating that cryptocurrency is not legal tender and promised a crackdown on illegal activities involving crypto. Completely different from the distorted view that blanket bans of cryptos in India. It just goes to show you that there's a lot of bad journalism in the space, and you should really take the time to read it, find out what it means, and truly get to the bottom of it yourself, and not rely on lazy journalism. Now let's also bear in mind that India also banned high denomination fiat banknotes. So let's end it on that thought. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I promise I will get better with uploading more regularly. I've got another really exciting video to upload about a coin that I've been researching a lot, and so that'll be uploaded too. So if you want to see that, remember to hit subscribe. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.